Many Latinos in the U.S. are out of work because of the pandemic, with Digi providing aid. Cancer patients struggle to speak again after having their larynx surgically removed. I'm Sean Scanlan. This is DaAi Headlines. Since the pandemic, about 1/5 of the people in the United States have lost their jobs or worked shorter hours. Many are Latino who left their hometowns without legal status. Tzu Chi Chicago volunteers sent instant rice and noodles to help them. They also joined up with the Catholic organization Little Sisters of the Poor to provide much-needed assistance.
About 2 hours away from the hustle and bustle of Chicago is the Rancho Township, which lives mostly low-income families.
This is Cultivators Mission Center. I am the director here. We provide food to the community, predominantly the Latino and the migrant community.
Okay, go ahead.
We also have a daycare for their children. We do social services, interpretation services for them. And we help, majority of the people we help is the undocumented people. But since COVID-19, the numbers of people unemployed, we have more people coming because they need food.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you so much.
Instant rice, instant noodle, vegetable, fruits, mass. Oh, that's the mess, okay?
Thank you so much.
I feel better and I feel safe about the information. Yes, and about the mask. I feel safe. Thank you.
Regardless of race or religion, Digi volunteers also send love to Little Sisters of the Poor, a Catholic organization that specializes in caring for the impoverished and solitary elderly.
I was very excited when I heard that you were going to donate PPE because we are truly concerned about the supply.
We try to do as best as we could.
The pandemic, as you know, has really hit older people in nursing homes very hard, and it hit us very hard as well. It was extremely sad. We know our elderly people are very, very fragile and very vulnerable. This is a great blessing, and you're just instruments of God, and we know He always sends us good people in the time of need. And it brings out the beauty and the goodness of all the different cultures who unite together to be instruments of God's love and help for others.
Regardless of race or religion, Digi send love to all corners affected by the pandemic to pass through the dilemma together.
During the Mid-Autumn Festival, Digi volunteers in Hong Kong prepared 100 blessing packages and went to a building where many solitary elders and low-income households reside. The building is 50 years old and used to be a commercial building. Here's more. This dim passage leads to a space inside the iron gate that is less than 3 square meters on average. This is a commercial building which has been subdivided into smaller spaces for solitary elders or low-income families to live.
There are 6 floors. We're in a hurry to give assistance to those in need. Everyone will soon be happy.
When the holiday comes, I send care packages and blessings to some of the families here. We also set up games to encourage them to be more vegetarian. There are many residents here who support eating 1 vegetarian meal a day or a few vegetarian meals a month.
Digi volunteers visited a 15-year-old middle school student and invited him to be a vegetarian and share Jingsa aphorisms. Volunteers felt impressed by his filial piety.
I chose this black tea because Mom is very tired when she comes back from work. Drinking this black tea can relieve her fatigue.
Jingsa food is part of this care package and a good partner for those who wish to be vegetarian.
I'm so grateful to grassroots volunteers. I'm very grateful to the Buddhist charity for sending so many supplies to us.
Most residents are sincere in the difficulties they face when it comes to switching to a vegetarian diet. However, many say they are eager to simply start by having 1 such meal. In Miaoli, there's a family of more than 10 people who used to cram into 2 rooms in an old 1-story house. Since their restroom was not functional, they had to borrow the restroom of their neighbors. Upon learning of their plight, Digi Foundation reached out to the family. Take a look.
The baby girl, who's less than a month old, is the youngest grandchild in the Zhang family. More than 10 family members across 3 generations lead a difficult life. The 40-year-old house was very different before the renovation.
The roof of the house leaked and more than 10 family members were crammed into 2 rooms.
They heated water in a pot with firewood. There was not a decent restroom or bathroom.
Volunteers reported their case to Tzu Chi's Department of Construction. Then Tzu Chi helped the family reinforce their roof, change the non-functional restroom into a common sleeping quarter. The family no longer needs to cram in the living room.
We partitioned the rooms with fireproof construction materials. We make the best use of the room space.
The family feels blessed just to enjoy their meals in the living room.
We have our own bathroom equipment, so we no longer need to worry about heating up the water or being soaked in rain.
Mr. Zhang, who lives in Taiwan's mountainous region, is a low-income citizen. Tzu Chi staff members have transported bathroom equipment up the mountain and replaced his kitchenware.
My family has an affinity with Tzu Chi. How should I describe this? I'm not eloquent. Thank you.
The family sings with a joyful heart to express their deepest gratitude.
40-year-old Mr. Hong from Taiwan suffered from shingles. During treatment, he had frequent contact with his 1-year-old daughter. As a result, the child developed itchy red spots all over and a high fever. After being rushed back to Taiwan for treatment, her diagnosis was chickenpox, which is also from the same virus.
Look at the big blisters in the back. It looks like it's getting better.
This little girl, surnamed Hong, who is under 1 year old, has chickenpox and a rash on her body.
It's on the head, face, torso, and limbs. There are obvious blisters and pustules. There are also some redness and swelling next to some pustules, similar to skin infections.
These symptoms accompanied by repeated high fever, as these parents are worried. After investigation, the cause turned out to be her father's shingles.
When I nearly recovered, I helped my child take a bath, and I found out that she had blisters and symptoms like me.
The pathogens of shingles and chickenpox are both varicella virus. When a patient coughs or sneezes, the virus in the mucous membrane of the respiratory tract easily spreads through the air. It may also be infected with contact with fluid from the virus.
When shingles is most infectious, it has a rash, and this is the stage when it is more painful.
According to Children's Vaccination Schedule, publicly funded varicella vaccine can be administered at the age of 1. When they grow older, you can get a second dose at your own expense, which can enhance your protection. Unfortunately, this little girl missed out on getting a vaccine by just a few days, and now she is infected. Even her new immigrant mother, who had not been vaccinated against chickenpox, was also infected. Fortunately, after treatment, they all got better, and this girl was discharged after 5 days in hospital. In Beigang, police officers looking for a wanted person found an elderly mother living in a dark environment with foul odor. The police were motivated to donate supplies and a refrigerator to this elderly person, and Digi volunteers also arrived to provide much-needed care.
I don't want to cry, but the tears fall on its own. It just comes down. I miss my son.
The gloomy house is occupied by 58-year-old Mother Lee. When she thinks of her son, she often bursts in tears. Her son is wanted due to drug issues, and when the police knocked on Miss Lee's door, they found a gloomy old house with foul odor. They didn't find the wanted person, but they found a mother incapable of living. The police officer Huang Shijie felt sad witnessing such a situation as he initiated a supply donation gathering amongst his colleagues. The police officers have brought a small refrigerator, taking turns to care for her, and if anything happens in the household, the police will arrive first.
We make regular visits here, coming here to care about her situation.
Mother Lee put her palms together and made thankful remarks to people around her. Tzu Chi volunteers also walked the road with her.
Now she doesn't have her son by her side, but she has neighbors and us, so she is feeling less lonely.
No matter if it's volunteers, police officers, or the neighborhood residents, they all gathered together to care for Miss Lee as she is no longer lonely.
The majority of patients who have had their larynx removed are men who are main breadwinners for their family. Even if they'll go cancer-free, there are major hurdles when it comes to integrating into society. Here's our report. These shiny bikes are gorgeous, and all of these thousands of miniature bikes here are the work of one man.
I've already used almost all of the existing pipe materials to make these bikes. So I'm thinking about whether there are any new materials that I can use that'll be better than existing materials.
From the first model made with simple wire in a single color to the present-day models which are colorful and equipped with LED lights, this is the impressive collection of this craftsman. The pair of pliers, a piece of wire can be pulled into a curved shape of a bicycle. The proportions are just right because he is so familiar with bicycles. He spent 25 years of his life working in a bicycle factory.
A bicycle itself is angled, and the ratio of the angles, if you have not made a bicycle, the ratio cannot be quite difficult.
Every miniature bike is a scaled-down model. Even the wheels, pedals, and seats that can move continue to function. After the operation, he couldn't directly communicate with family and friends. All he could do was simply be bored to pass the time. He unexpectedly put his hands to use and silently became immersed in the fun activity of building a bicycle by himself. After suffering this disease and seeing his health decline, Cai Yufeng began to see a different aspect of his life. Zhuang Rongchen, who operates his backhoe, was originally the owner of a construction company. Because of work on the construction site, his life became tumultuous as he began smoking and drinking day and night. This put him in a high-risk group for head and neck cancer.
After I got sick, I thought there was no reason for me to keep the workshop, so I sold all the machinery and equipment after I got sick.
Losing his ability to speak did not actually affect his physical health. He even made up his mind to give up the alcohol and tobacco that had been with him for 40 years. But an early retirement was simply too boring for him as he decided to return to the workplace again.
Sometimes when I can't talk like this, I have to rely on my hands and sign language. For example, if there is a pipe underneath, I have to tell them that there is a pipe underneath and tell them to use their hands to clear it out. Otherwise, this backhoe will ruin the pipe.
You have to hold the speaker in your hands to make a sound, but at the same time, you also have to operate the machinery with the other hand. Additionally, not being able to filter the air by breathing through the nose requires cleaner air quality, as dirty construction environments expose him to other risks.
This is too small, don't pick it.
Here we are at a citrus orchard where fruit has just emerged. This is the result of Wu Deyi's hard work. He's busy picking fruit with both hands, and he can also speak without using a speaker. For this, he gives credit to his little grandson.
弟弟，阿公讲话，你听不听得懂？
听得懂。
听得懂啊？你都听得懂？
对啊。
After his cancer, he had more time to spend with his grandson. He used this time to talk to him. He also spent more time with Laryngectomy Association, dedicated using this opportunity to be a teacher to others.
If I have an opportunity, I want to help others. I want to let them speak more quickly.
Faced with his own speech problems, he has found solace in helping other patients like himself. His goal is to teach every patient with no larynx to regain a new voice and the opportunity to communicate once again. In Xiamen, Digi volunteer Ye Yoda passed away due to oral cancer in February last year. His wife, daughter, and son-in-law have committed themselves to doing recycling. Have also invited others from the community to do this work.
这车是师兄留下来的。
The cart left by her husband is Hong Chonglan's best company for her while she's doing recycling.
每天晚上都来巡楼，
对，
从几楼巡到几楼？
我这里是巡到6楼，那边是巡到18楼，从我8楼巡到18楼。
Some people had suspicion that she's earning money by collecting recyclables. I said no, she's actually giving back to society.
When I see Sister Chonglan, she is so small size, yet she needs to exert so much energy to collect recyclables. Indeed, there's a need for people to help and accompany her here.
To me, as long as there's a chance to do recycling, I would not care how far the place is. I always tell others that when I'm having my meal and I receive a call to collect recyclables, I'll head over to pick them up first before coming back to finish my meal.
这是他写的，他做的。
While doing recycling, there are many things that are left by her late partner, Ye Yoda. Xiamen Tzu Chi volunteer Ye Yoda was wild and naive when he was young. Later on, he had cerebral hemorrhage and oral cancer. He learned his lessons while in pain and later on joined the ranks of Tzu Chi volunteer. He has been the most hardworking person while doing recycling.
After he got to know Tzu Chi, he quit smoking and drinking alcohol. His overall condition and his attitude has had a big change.
尤其是性格上面有很大的转变。
I want to defeat this illness. With a healthy body, I'll spread the awareness of recycling in my community.
In February 2019, Ye Yoda passed away at the age of 60. The only thing that worried him was doing recycling.
In his final days, he was unable to eat anything. He kept on telling his daughter that he wants to bring her into the Tzu Chi family, and she needs to bring her husband together also.
Before the passing of my father, he told me that the only thing that he cannot let go is doing recycling. He told me that he wants to bring me and my husband into Tzu Chi family. He wants me to continue his work of doing recycling. We then started to do recycling, and as time passed, we felt happier each time, and more people also started doing recycling with us.
Fulfilling a family member's wish and promoting it towards the whole community, the once lonely recycling volunteer have now turned into a group of recycling army. By turning their feeling of missing into the strength that propels them to carry out recycling, this group of volunteers continue to live their lives with the most sincere love towards the planet.
In Taipei's Jianguo Flower Market, volunteers have been promoting plastic reduction while carrying out recycling work for the past 20 years. Here's more.
The flower vendors in Jianguo Flower Market has a chance to promote to the consumers, inviting them to join in on the plastic reduction campaign, teaching them to prepare their own recycling bags while shopping and practice it in their daily life. Once you collected 10 points, we can exchange items at the Farmers Association customer service counter or the Flower Market customer service counter right there.
的奖励就是这样。
不要有塑胶袋啦。
对对对对对，哇，大哥，理念完全正确。啊，你今嘛把这挂开，好不好？
哦，挂。来，小姐来，那我也给你优待，150就给你100块，150人算你100。哦，那看你，你要几盆我就可以盖几个。当然赞同啊。
Of course, I agree with the campaign. Many of the people here, they'll prepare their own plastic bags when they come to buy things. This awareness is slowly spreading, and with the help of DaAi TV, we might be able to spread this awareness even faster. It's a very meaningful thing to do.
也是一件很有意义的事啊。
那结婚金嘛吼，我购物自己带，
It all happened 21 years ago. We opened a breakfast shop at the opposite side of this market. We placed a sign and set up a recycling spot there. The vendors saw that we were doing recycling, and then we were able to head in here to collect recyclables.
I come at noon on Sundays from 12 o'clock to 9 o'clock at night. I will then wash the bags like this one right here. I wash 70 of them. I'm free on Sundays. When we're doing recycling, time passes really fast. It's not good to watch TV programs at home, so I come here to do recycling and time passes really fast.
We as Tzu Chi volunteers must step up and do the recycling work, so that the people that come here will see the efforts of all our volunteers. They can also learn how to sort the recyclable items. Before we came here to sort the recyclables, everything was thrown into the rubbish bin as trash. After we started carrying out recycling here, the amount of rubbish has decreased by 50% for the past 20 years. We also hope that by doing so, we can invite more people in the community to join us in sorting recyclables.
In Malaysia, the Digi International School in Kuala Lumpur held an environmental protection exhibition. The students spent 1 month planning and preparing the exhibition. Take a look.
Okay, I'm ready.
Once they got inside the box, they were then covered with garbage. The students learned to put themselves in others' shoes and understood what our Earth is facing now.
I've learned that our Mother Earth is suffering. When they threw the rubbish on top of me, it made me feel that it's like us throwing rubbish onto our Mother Earth.
At the next stage, the students needed to plant the trees in the shortest time possible.
The speed of logging trees is way faster than the time needed to plant a tree. So we incorporated planting trees in the game to let them know that planting a tree is not an easy task.
In conjunction with the 30th anniversary of the recycling mission, Tzu Chi International School in Kuala Lumpur organized an environmental protection exhibition. There are 8 major themes in the exhibition, and from the planning phase to the execution phase, all were done by the students themselves.
During the preparation process, some of the projects needed amendments. Some students have made changes to their project 5 to 6 times just to present the best possible project during the exhibition.
We do teach environmental protection in our humanistic lessons. However, teaching in class is not enough. The aim of this exhibition is to let the students experience the concept of environmental protection through their own actions. It's not just about the knowledge.
The environmental protection exhibition calls on everyone to protect our planet Earth, practicing the duty of environmental protection in our daily lives.
Fireworks for Taiwan's National Day attracted tens of thousands of viewers. Digi was at the event with volunteers actively promoting a vegetarian diet. Thank you and goodbye.